What is up, chats? Welcome back to the stream. We're live, a little belated here. We're a little late. We had some issues getting Headstrong into the lobby today. Steam was having some problems. We had some crashes going on.
Put a knife in
I
it.
think that's a really good idea.
See if it works. Oh yes, it
It
does.
beautifully.
Stormboys can innately advance and charge.
Thank you, Chad. Is that the Queen? What was that? Anyway, we're live over here at the Pod 28 finals for Season 8. Players didn't put their names in the score sheet yet, but we have over here in the red Congo Bill, who we have seen in a couple finals games so far, as well as some IRL games, if I remember correctly. Playing ORKS. This is a very... yeah, there it is. I was literally bracing myself for the incoming deluge of orc songs. I appreciate everybody going with the flow. A very kaleidoscopic orc army, extremely transport focused, but that's what we've been seeing from orcs recently. A lot of there's not like a ton of variety in sort of the game plan for orcs. Obviously, the Wa tribe kind of just does the same thing every game. There are some Dinos.
Red ones go faster.
But there are the way they arrive at that game plan can be a little bit different. We've seen battle wagons, we've seen truck spam. This is very much a sort of truck spam list. We have the maximum number of trucks in the army, but we've also seen more of the cavalry focus, more of the mounted focus types of units or types of armies, and it's pretty interesting. These are some wild orc models, by the way. Are these from Conquest or something? It says they're wielding bottles. I don't know what game these are from. These are not 40k models, but I appreciate them. They look different, so that's cool.
Okay.
Anyway, over here in the blue, so we're going to be rolling off for Chosen Battlefield right now, I think is what we're going to be doing. Make sure the players are doing this correctly. If you want, we can turn on the deployment zones and then just unlock the objectives. Yeah.
Oh, we're unlocked. Okay.
Yeah, just move around. Then you have the deployment zone up, because as soon as you add the deployment zone, the objectives will spawn anyway. Okay.
Wow.
Every time, chat.
Flipped it. Oh, someone
Anyway.
left the board, not the objectives. It's like sat on top.
Yeah, well, we might crash here momentarily, chat. I think the players have unlocked my tabletop here, and we're all frozen up.
Base mod. Or
Do we just control V?
wherever we'll have to. I think it's easier if we just reload the base mod.
All right, chat, we're
Right.
back. I apologize for that. Players always find a way to make things interesting, and they this time it was somehow unlocking the tabletop so that my TTS froze. We had to reload. But you know, there it is. I'm not really sure how they worked out how to do that, but that is the downside, I think, of the chosen battlefield. Unfortunately, you have to go get in the nitty gritty and mess with the objectives, which can sometimes make things a little bit funny. Hey, thank you for the cheers, everybody. Hot damn.
Right there.
Am I turtle enough for the turtle club? No. I'm tortoise enough for the tortoise club.
Yo, Mr. White! So there's this tabletop simulator thing, right? It's like board games on your computer. You can play anything online, even Warhammer 40K, which is like this badass futuristic war game. But heads up, it's got issues. It crashes sometimes. So if we're planning some epic Warhammer 40K sesh, we gotta be careful. Yo.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for letting me know about Tabletop Simulator, Jesse. I am the one who rewinds. Thank you, dudes. But thanks for the bits, everybody. Happy Hunter with the big cheer. Sakarian Infiltrators, not to include Bradmech. I haven't dived into the Admech Codex yet. I have dived into the Necron Codex, and I'm actually today I did my read through of Necrons, and I'm editing that down for patrons. So if you want to hear me wax philosophical about the Necron Codex, 2 of the detachments are really cool. Most of them are garbage, but it is what it is. Unfortunately for poor Necrons, definitely, I think a bit of a side grade for that army. Awakened Dynasty was pretty good. It got real bad, I think, in the update. A lot of the core kind of power of the detachment was removed. And look at this symmetry that we got going on in these deployments. This is almost identical. That's amazing. Yeah, and but I don't know. Canoptic Court and Hypercrypt Legion, and honestly, kind of even OBS's Phalanx, I think, seem pretty sweet. these like AI TTS like Q&As are very good. By the way, these are good every time. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about some lists. By the way, exclamation point lists. Shut up. Sorry, I've been thrown off of my normal talking points. Let's talk about some lists. We've seen lists like these from both armies in the past. Congo Bill over here running Orcs. He has Captain Badruck, a Smash a Squig Knob with Head Wop with Kill Choppa, so it gets devastating wounds. A Follow Me Lads war boss, as well as 2 standard war bosses. So those are the regular, the foot war bosses, not the mega armored guys. One of them looks like probably the guy. One of them, yeah, this guy over here with his big knob unit is gonna be +2 movement. So then we have 3 units of 5 knobs to join those war bosses into. 3 units of 10 boys, as we saw with their funny looking models. Alongside 6 trucks to ferry everyone around in. 1 unit of flash kits for Captain Badruck. 2 units of Gretchen. As well as 1 big brick of Squig Hog Boys. So that's where the Knob on Smash the Squig is going to join into. 3 units of Storm Boys. Usually we just see 2 of the Storm Boys units, but we're really all in on the utility this time. All of the trucks obviously make your this is a fun guy. That's adorable. The trucks can act as sort of utility units. They're cheap and cheerful little dedicated transports that can go around and do actions if you need them to. But then you also have all the Storm Boys units and all of the Gretchen units. So, not to mention all of the Orc units themselves. So there's just a bunch of stuff going on for sure, which is cool. Very nice to see. Moving over to the Grey Knights list. Headstrong is a real proponent of the triple librarian in Grey Knights, which I think is largely what we are, I think, going to be the strongest loadout for them. See if we're on deployment yet.
Drago and the boys, and then a solo lib. Deep strike.
Okay, cool.
Good stuff.
You wanted me to deploy first?
I mean, I took a defender so I could pick side, but it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay, so you deploy first.
You don't forget to start your cock computer blank. 2. Cool. All right. We are off to the races, chat. A seamless kickoff to this game. So we're running a brother captain with Sigil of Exigence, so he's going to be able to go into one of these big units. He himself hits pretty hard. He is...
Hey Vsauce, Michael here. Ever wonder how those Warhammer 40k orcs make their haphazard-looking guns actually work? It's a bit like entering the mad genius realm of orc engineering. So, picture this. Orc technology is this chaotic mix of scavenged parts,
Who is this
metal
guy?
scraps, and
don't know
a
who
whole
this
lot of
guy
imagination. But what really makes their guns tick? It's the power of belief, the essence of wow.
Wah! I'm gonna need every single person who was on this server to say it exactly like that dude does. Wah! It's the essence of wah. That's very good. I appreciate that very much. Is that a lowercase wah? Anyway, moving on to the Grey Knights list. We have a brother captain, so he's got the Sigil of Exigence, so he's able to redeploy himself in response to enemy targeting with shooting attacks, which is cool. He himself gets wound rerolls with his psychic weapons, which is also sweet. But largely that allows this big unit of paladins to sort of play bully in the center of the table. They can either wander up the table if they need to, or teleport assault up and down into the center. There's not really much your opponent can do to attack them, because if they do so, you're just going to be you teleporting away for the most part. If you get close enough to charge them, they're going to miss Devemos. If you get up to shoot them, they're just going to port out. So they're very difficult to deal with, and they're resilient enough, especially if you have their Armor of Contempt represented, then they can actually take a couple hits before they trigger their Sigil. So it's hard. It's a because the Sigil of Exigence is an optional ability. It's hard to play around in the same way that other defensive stratagems are. Where I actually have an old video on defensive stratagem usage, where trying to like split fire and force the use of that stratagem earlier than your opponent would want you to, you can sometimes like force them to use it. And in a way that doesn't mitigate the majority of your shooting. But the Sigil of Exigence, you could just use it at any time. So you can just you can eat some of the shooting and then pop it in response to their big attacks and stuff like that. So there's a lot of optionality to it. And then where you go is pretty good too, because you can hop up and down, like jump on an objective. And if your opponent doesn't have tons of shooting to kill you, if you are armored resiliented, then you'll be able to, or true silver armored, then you'll be able to survive through most incoming shooting attacks, unless they're super high AP. We then have 3 Brotherhood Librarians. So we have 2 of those inside Brotherhood Terminator units. So it looks like we have 2 Terminator units on the table with those Brotherhood Librarians, plus 1 Librarian just solo by himself. The Librarians are incredibly powerful. They have a Vortex of Doom, which has minimum D3 plus 2 D3 mortal wounds, and they can kick it out for 2 D6 mortal wounds if they roll a 6 to attack with it. But the downside is that on a 1, they suffer D6 mortal wounds themselves, which can be a little bit dangerous. But they do have, when they're joined into the Terminator units, their Psychic Hood protects them from that, and the Terminators, if they remain on the table and they don't teleport assault, they regenerate a model every turn with their FSEM. So the downside is that is mitigatable by the Librarian units. It is just just a inconvenience that you don't get the damage out, but it's the highest damage output for a special ability, I think, in the game. And then when you have 3 of them and you can put all 3 of them onto an enemy, like they're able to one-shot basically most vehicles in the game by themselves. And because it's not an actual shooting attack, it actually can be used alongside actions and other abilities. So tons of optionality to it. You can advance and perform it. You can fall back and perform it. You can do it in melee. You can shoot it out of melee. It's incredibly flexible and super strong. Brother Captain Stern is the... okay, TTS, what are we doing today? Brother Captain Stern being set up over here is the last inclusion. We can actually take a look at his data sheet. He's a cool inclusion, and we've seen this kind of trend towards playing these... these just trend towards playing these respawnable characters outside of attached units. So he does have a very powerful mortal wound effect in melee. Enemy units suffer a mortal wound on critical wounds from his entire unit. So you can put him with 10 Terminators, and you're probably good for 4 or 5 mortal wounds from that ability alone, which is incredibly strong by itself. But he also then respawns when you kill him. So independently, he's a Grey Knight's character, which is nothing to shake a stick at. He's 6 wounds with a 2+ save, 4+ invulnerable save. He can teleport assault around the table as normal. He can prognosticated arrival. He can miss some demos, all that stuff. So he's good at scoring objectives by himself. He's good at holding objectives by himself. He can hit in melee pretty well if he wants to. Strength 6, AP 2 for 2 damage. Which is all solid, but then also if you kill him, he respawns, and so you'll probably hold on to whatever objective he's holding if you're shooting him down. So even against heavy indirect fire, it's going to take them 2 shooting phases to actually remove that guy, even if they get through the 2+ save, which can be very difficult to punch through with indirect fire, unless you're like Imperial Guard, I guess. So he's a very cool inclusion, and then outside of that, we just have the Terminator bricks for the characters to join into. 2 units of 5 Terminators, as I said, 1 big Brotherhood Terminator squad, 1 big Paladin squad, and an Eversor Assassin for some utility. And all together, pretty simple. So we're just rocking like 4 units and 2 characters, and I guess 3 independent characters, and then that's it. That's what's going on. But very flexible. It's hard to pin these guys down and with enough like beef to kill them. The big question is whether they're going to have the attack volume and the relevant attack volume to kill all these orcs. They do have pretty solid defensive profiles against orcs, because a 2+ save is kind of a downside for orcs. Outside of the knob units, the AP value is relatively low, so you can Armor of Contempt through a lot of orc aggression. And even if you can't, you can try to play with Mists of Deimos to get yourself out of those situations. So there's a lot of benefits for the Grey Knights in this matchup, but again, the trucks are a little bit of an awkward profile for them. They have 4 side cannons inside their Paladin squad, which can help knock down trucks. They do wound on 4s, and they're AP 1s, so they force them to a 4 or a 5-up save, depending on cover. And that will probably knock down a truck. But then the question is, do they have enough beef to kill the guys inside? And the answer is going to be questionable, especially now that orcs have a 5+ save instead of or T5 instead of T4. They are a lot more resilient to Stormbolter shooting than they were in the past. And Grey Knights actually used to be one of the most effective armies against styles of game like this, because you could use your shooting in 9th edition to kill the transport, force the enemies inside to bail out, and then shoot them with your Stormbolters. But now, even if you get those transports killed with the Psy Cannons or with the Librarians, the Stormbolters might just ping off of the tough hides of orcs. So we'll see how it goes for them. I'm excited to watch this matchup play out, because I think it's a really, really unique and interesting one. It could be that orcs are just able to hold down all the objectives, and that's that, or it could be that Grey Knights are just too tough and do too much damage in melee for them. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll get a prediction going, chat. There it is. Let's go. We'll do 5 minutes. All right, prediction is up. Get those channel points going. Then you can drop down some good points on some funny TTS Q&As. Absolutely incredible. These are very good, by the way. That was definitely not the reason that I installed that extension, but man, has it been good. Hope everyone's having a good week so far, by the way. And everybody's having some fun 40K. Some fun 40K times. I might be playing in a tournament this weekend, which I'm so kind of excited about. Getting all my stuff ready for it. I haven't actually played IRL 40K in like a really long time. I think it might literally have been Battle Brothers G2 is the last time I actually played. Because a lot of times I'm working shows now instead of playing with them. 68% for orcs. Wow. Nobody believes in Headstrong. I guess we also should mention this Eversor Assassin, by the way. This guy's actually kind of he might be a little bit of a spicy... might be a little bit of spice against orcs, because he's like mass... doing womp-woms over here. He's like mass anti-infantry attacks, anti-overwatches, and heroically intervenes for free. So if you don't need him to go score yourself objective points, the inclusion of the Eversor Assassin is actually really interesting, because he might just end up turning into an infantry blender. He's base 6 attacks, his strength 5, but he's anti-infantry 3+. So he's gonna wound almost everything besides the vehicles and the Squidcog boys on 3s, which is a big deal because it's essentially +1 or even +2 to wound in some instances, like against the knobs. And then he could give himself sustain 3. So his average like wound generation is like probably like 6 or 7 dead orcs, I think, per activation from him. He can give himself precision if he wants to as well, but you know, he also has the anti-infantry 3 pistol. That's pretty solid. It's AP 0, but that's not too bad. But that also gains sustain 3, and then he can use it to Overwatch for free. So he actually kills a couple models on the way in too. If you get 1 or 2 6s, he just pops off and vaporizes a bunch of dudes. So I think the Eversor Assassin might actually be kind of a transformative take here. Oh, we aren't afeared. We aren't afeared, brothers. We're ready to go.
Yeah, I'll put it there. Oh. Roll off for first turn.
The big roll.
All right. We 4.
Pretty good. Lower, please. Dice.
All right.
Yeah, Headstrong does absolutely hate going first. The big downside, obviously, for Grey Knights is that they can't use their teleport assault on the first turn, taking the first turn. So unfortunately for them, this means that their mobility on the first battle round is a little bit limited. Plus, they don't get bottom round 5 scoring, which is really big for them. A lot of times they're trying to they're scoring all their secondaries very easily, and they're trying as hard as they can to kind of keep parity on primary and attrition you down, because they can shoot you, they can score, they can steal your objectives, and then sort of late game they can come back in and try to steal them all with their weird maneuverability. So it looks like we're on both tactical this game, which is interesting. No cleanse and deploy homers for the orcs today, which is usually what we see out of this faction. But we're going a little bit more broad, which I appreciate. I like that a lot. Deploy teleport homers, secure no man's land for Grey Knights on the first turn. That's super easy. Both players have 1 objective inside their deployment zone, 1 objective outside their deployment zone, just barely. And then we're going to be able to throw the Eversor Assassin in there. He's going to tow the middle objective and score a bunch of points. There you go. And that guy's just worth, what is that, 5 points right there? Easy. Because he's going to get 3 for teleport homers and then be the second secure. So that's a perfect draw for Headstrong for the first turn. I'm just going to get the players to put their names in the thing. Can I get you guys to put your names in the score sheet real quick?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Me.
Thank you. There we go. Now everybody knows who I'm talking about. We don't have to say the Grey Knight player. Always go first as Grey Knights and just pass the turn. Yeah, that seems about right. I mean, this is basically a turn pass, but it's good secondaries for turn 1. So Headstrong can't be too. He's not too happy about that turn 1. Roll off, but he's happy about the turn 1 draws, I imagine, for sure. I'm really excited for the Grey Knights Codex, by the way. I think it's going to be really interesting. constructing alternative playstyles for this faction that doesn't have a lot of entries right now. Although it could be that we get more models for Grey Knights, which would be nice. Looks like the Terminator squad's going to take up the center of the ruin right here. The big benefit is that Headstrong gets to see what his opponent does with his entire turn before he elects to teleport assault. So we can see a situation where Congo Bill or Milwaukee Jones, where place and man's name guy ends up pushing super far forward, and we get an easy charge with those Terminators. Maybe even to take care of the Eversor Assassin. We get an easy charge with the Terminators, and then they're just in melee next turn instead of uppy downeying and being 9 inches away from enemies. Which would be cool, but that is something to play around as well as the Orc player. You do have to constantly be screening against Grey Knights and not giving them those juicy targets just to go into on the table. The teleport assault's really powerful, but it also it gets you far away from your opponent because you are always looking for 9-inch charges unless you have Drago. So you're it's kind of a double-edged sword sometimes. And so forcing your opponent to use it to get angles they want is kind of usually a good idea. Orc has to go out top of turn. That is true. You know, you're not wrong, Chad. That's a good dynamic. Yeah, orcs also like going first a lot. So despite the fact that Headstrong wanted to go second, I don't know if he wants to go second as little as orcs want to go first. If that makes sense. As much as orcs want to go first. I'm not sure. I don't know if Headstrong dislikes going second as much as orcs like going first. There we go. That's what I meant to say. And so I imagine it, like the orc win rate actually probably drops like several percentage points on that first turn roll off because they're so much stronger going first. They can move to the center of the table even if they give their opponent uppy downies. Like you're not going to take too much damage from it, and then the next turn you can just be on every objective essentially after the wall. More interested in the Orcs Codex? Bring more of the off-the-wall rules. Oh, we're gonna get some some Dreadwa and like Dread Mob and like funky vehicle lists and stuff. It's gonna be good. I'm excited for the Orc Codex too. Honestly, the new detachment rules are really cool because you can suddenly you can think about these top-down army styles. Okay. So assassination, investigate signals for orcs. Investigate signals isn't that great, but he does have stuff in position for it. I don't know if these Grots can get there, but he does have trucks in both corners set up for investigate signals, so that's not too bad for Mr. Milwaukee Jones over here. Assassination is on the table on the Eversor Assassin, but I don't know how close he is to the orc lines and whether or not there's anything that's worth charging in there. But that does mean that the orcs are highly incentivized to try to go kill this guy, which does mean that the paladins will likely have a good charge this coming turn if they want to stay on the table and make the crack back. And then orcs being a primarily melee army, you can always just sort of refuse the charge with that to Unit 2. If you get the alpha strike with the paladin squad, then you're just representing Mists of Deimos for the entire orc turn. And if they declare a WA and advance right up at you, if they don't want to go for 9-inch charges, then they're just going to let you put yourself back into reserve or out of charge range. So it's doesn't feel that great for orcs in this situation. So we might even see assassination just turn into a command point, unless the aggression already triggered one actually. So never mind. Damned Legion painted Zangors with a red and pink skin like Magnus. Kept the blue armor and golden horns and trim. Ooh, that sounds good, actually. I actually really like that. Damned Legion, post pictures in painting and modeling if you haven't already in the Discord. I want to see. If they follow the same scheme as your Magnus, I'm like so into it. That feels very consistent, and I really like it. I like the idea.
I really like a sandwich where you do your movement. If you end with a 9 or something, just put it on me. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Sandwich.
The True Silver armor is good against orcs, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. The a lot of the orc weapons are like AP1, maybe AP2. And so a 2+ save with Armor of Contempt is just going to wander through those and just largely be fine. It's probably a scenario game for orcs if I had a hazard a guess.
This truck's gonna move back here and investigate. He can't miss. I will advance with the storm.
Whoa. Oh, Lord, they coming. The big 6-inch advance.
Where can they go? Anywhere. Up in his face.
Yeah, the thing we could do here is restrict the movement of that paladin squad potentially. That might be a good call. You can allow the paladins to charge you, but give them limited avenues to move around and get their side cannons online. Because the side cannons are a big part of the power of that unit. Because if you can protect the trucks from them, you probably want to.
Or they could set up right here. These guys can just go up. Bomb them. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just get these guys in position then for something magical. Whoa. Come back. There.
Oh, not
like
going
that.
for the assassination. There is the downside, obviously, that the Overwatch just like clips out half that Stormboy's unit, as we just talked about. He can roll 1/6 and hit 4 times and wound on 3s, and
Advanced boys
mostly cut through their armor, I think. They're still saving on a 5, maybe a 4, so it's not super likely you lose too many, but it's a non-zero chance you lose 2, and then I think it's very questionable whether you kill that guy, so this is probably the safer play.
Advance the nods with all Milad's truck. 13. Just like that.
Sandwich acquired.
Sandwich acquired.
Delicious.
I'll advance the flash.
Delicious
truck.
sandwich.
They're not doing anything. 16.
Well, the trucks are in danger to the side cannons, I think, because the side cannons wound on 4s. Like the side cannons don't have a great profile, but they do have a fine enough profile against trucks, right? It's just a bunch of strength 8 2 damage attacks, which is what you need against trucks anyway. You know, it's 5 side cannons, so it's a pretty reasonable chance you get enough through, especially if you can get around cover. So I think that the trucks are. It's not unfair that the trucks are in a little bit of danger, and the scary part would be if you lose the truck to the side cannons, and then another unit comes and stormbolters everybody inside. That gets really dangerous, especially like the knobs. That if Headstrong picks up like goes up to a knob unit, picks up everything, drops in front of that knob unit, shoots the truck to death, and then puts 3 sets of Vortex of Dooms into the knob unit, there's a not unreasonable chance you kill the entire knob unit and the war boss. Right? It would be 6d3 with the potential for a 2d6 mortal wounds. So at a base level, on average, you're hitting for 12. And if you spike a little bit, which is I think just leaves the war boss on 3, all you have to do is spike a little bit, or on 4, I guess. There are 6 wounds. And you kill the war boss too. Or you just kill him with your stormbolters and incinerators and stuff. So I think it's a very reasonable fear that you lose the truck and everybody inside if all the paladins shoot you. Side cannons aren't great, but if they're shooting into like medium infantry or light vehicles, like that's their preferred target. So I think side cannons aren't great, but in this matchup in particular, I think they're pretty good. However you shoot them at that knob unit, whether it's at the truck or at the unit inside after the truck gets Vortex of Doomed, you're doing some damage with those guys. They're not great once your armor save is very high, but orc armor saves aren't that good. Oh, damn, Legion got a picture and painting and modeling? Hell yeah.
Whatever.
Let's get a quick peek here. For whatever reason, I can't.
3-inch deep strike is no fun.
Weird. That is looking good. Yeah, I like the Zangor's matching Magnus.
Okay, whatever. Something like that.
And the Hellbrute,
I'm just
too.
gonna normal move with the Squig Hog
That's sweet.
boys.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Found that Grey Knights do the whole Tyranid thing of just trying to ignore your army unless you have to fight. Basically, yeah, that's essentially how they go. I think it's the tryhard. The tryhard Discord has a great meme in the Grey Knights section. It's the Simpsons meme with the guy on the bus. He's like, "Don't make me tap the sign again," and the sign is like, "Don't ever try to kill people with Grey Knights." Like, don't try to table your opponent with Grey Knights. I think what it is. You just score your points, get all your points and stuff. But I mean, so, to some extent, the matchups where you can deal damage, I think Grey Knights get very excited, and that is to some extent, you know, sometimes Grey Knight's best matchups, and this was for a long time why they were so popular in team events, especially at the beginning of the edition, is because they actually had a playable matchup into Eldar. Because they were weapon profiles that were good against Eldar defensive profiles. Eldar infantry just fall apart to Grey Knights. Right? You're shooting side cannons at Aspect Warriors, you will kill them. Our Vortex of Dooms will kill the heavy stuff. Maybe not Wraithguard, like Wraithguard are kind of invincible, but
gonna let the bomb
you know, you'll kill.
the
If the Incarn commits and you get 3 Librarians on her, she just dies.
both of their Squiggies.
Oh, we're gonna try to kill the Eversor with Squig bombs. That's
Go
exciting.
off for 5.
Oh, and they do kill him. Oh boy, can see a deadly demise here, which would be funny. No. Well, there you go. Who needs to commit Storm Boys? Just kill him with
And then I'll
just kill him with Squig Hogs
Snob's truck.
or Bomb Squigs. Yeah, but now we do have a good charge into that unit, and I guess part of a scary bit too is that the knob is in the center, or the knob is in the front. Excuse me. So the you can shoot an Arcane and Vortex of Doom into that unit all you want, and the last remaining model in the unit will be the knob, regardless of what happens. So you know you're going to get a good charge in there.
That's fine. Okay. So that's the movement.
Turn the AdMech channel into Lord of the Rings
Shooting,
Discord.
destruct,
That's
destruct.
entirely Lord Solar. That's entirely Lord Solar doing that, right? The goofball. All right, 9 points scored for Orcs. That's a good start to the game for both these players. The score's looking neck and neck, and we are back over to Grey Knights. What can they do to prevent this? Now, we do have Kaldor Drago in reserve, we should mention, obviously. Drago's back. There he is. Drago's back there with his plus 3 inches to charge, so he can potentially try to get in and disrupt some of these objectives, but I do think it is a little dangerous for him if he wants to get too aggressive. He needs to sort of hit something that's in a bit of a softer area. And the Orcs, with their Wa in the chamber, they have their... they have good threat range to basically anywhere up until and almost including the Grey Knight deployment zone. Would have maybe charged the Eversor. Yeah, I think the issue is probably distance, right? Because the Squig Hogs were kind of far back, and the Eversor was right on the edge of this objective. So he's 25 inches away from their deployment. I don't know if the Squig Hogs were on the line. I don't believe that they were. So the actual charge might have been a little bit tough for them. Because they didn't have advance and charge that turn. But here comes the Paladin squad.
Guns. Heal in.
Thank you for the follow. Crazy good kung fu. We're about to watch some crazy good kung fu of the 40k variety today. Can we see the knob on Smasha Squig datasheet? Yeah, for sure. Let's pull him up. The big benefit for him, so he gets, if I remember correctly, I'm gonna see if I can remember this off the top of my head. During your WA turns,
How do I change the shape of this?
he gets anti-vehicle, anti-monster, and then you can give him devastating wounds with the Headwapis Kill Trappa. Here he goes. Yeah, so during the battle round which you WAD, he gets anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3, and he gets devastating thanks to the enhancement. So he's swinging 5 times with, anti-monster, anti-vehicle. Probably converts... You've sustained 1, so you probably convert 4 of those, maybe 3 or 4. So you're probably good for 6 to 8 damage on a vehicle. Pretty good. Less good against Grey Knights, obviously, because they don't have monsters or vehicles. But it is still pretty solid, and it gives his unit +1 to hit too. So they're very effective in melee as well, which is effective, especially effective because the Squigog boys themselves are also swinging with lances. So you're +1 to hit and +1 to wound with the knob attached and with your sustains and everything. So the whole unit themselves is relatively terrifying. Looks like we're considering bringing Drago's Terminator unit in here. That's a little aggressive. Looking to get a hit on the Knobs truck. Now the scary part about this is that if you go in on the truck in melee, I don't believe that there is a trigger for Mists of Deimos on enemies setting up on the table. I believe it's only ending a movement. Let me verify that real quick. So before I'm talking out my butt here. Yeah, it's after a normal move, advance or fall back. I guess you can move in and engage that stuff, but they're just gonna stay in melee if that's the case. So the issue is that, like, if you go in and you hit the truck, right, everybody just bails out and then stands there for a turn. And all you do is, like, you can, in order to prevent mists from triggering, you can just keep most of your army stationary, but that's fine. If you're then going to just charge in the fight phase and you're just going to get back in on those guys and beat them up. And maybe that's like a trade that Headstrong's fine with taking. Maybe he recognizes that if he can trade Draco's unit for the 2 knobs, then he's in a good spot. Are we trying to... Maybe we're going to kill it with Vortex of Dooms? We might get a couple Psy Cannons on it, too. The line of sight's a little bit iffy. No, the Psy Cannons are only going to shoot into the Squig Hogs, it looks like. We might get a couple shots into the Storm Boys. So we could kill it with Vortex of Doom, but then Draco's unit's going to be out of charge range. So, because you'll most likely deploy backwards with the knobs. But then I guess that forces the orcs to move forward, and then that will trigger mists. So maybe it's fine. But then you don't get Draco's ability at all. So he's just a weird character at that point. Do I have updated cards for the new books? No.
Keep moving. I got
in my little data sheet overlay, I don't, unfortunately. I just have them from the indexes online. Like, I think I could, like, manually go in and screenshot them, I guess. But it would certainly not look as good. So I'm not sure what to do when more books have transitioned over. Fortunately, so far, most of the index data sheets are identical. Necron's got a bit of an update, like a bunch of their character stuff changed. And some of their units changed. But yeah. Waha PD updated Necrons? Did they really? They did not have it yesterday. I was looking at that yesterday, and they were on old Necrons. Maybe they updated today. Oh, they did. Look at that. Very nice. Fair enough, chat. Not looking good. Yeah, I also have I have a PDF copy of the Necron Codex too. AdMech units changed, but points didn't change.
I don't know. They ruled it that way at WCW, but I don't know about stuff. TO 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 discretion.
Trevi.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't believe that it does, but I'll just double check real quick so I'm not misquoting. Yeah, you are not considered to have ended a movement for disembarking a transport.
Okay, cool.
You have made one sometime in the nebulous past, but you didn't end it right then.
Nice.
They were like jogging in place in the transport.
Okay.
Before it exploded, I guess.
Yeah.
Grey Knights are weird with gacha rules. That's true. Grey Knights are all about gacha rules. It feels like that's what they have going for them. So before the game, I think it wasn't on stream. Headstrong asked Milwaukee Jones here what his how familiar he was with Grey Knights, and he said, "Oh, I've never played Grey Knights before. I don't know what they do." Headstrong went, "Yes, that's what I like to hear." Just definitely the energy, the Grey Knights energy. If you know how to play against me, it's gonna be rough. Like you're gonna be able to shut down a lot of my stuff, but if you've never seen it before, oh boy, you're in for a treat. So it looks like we're doing a rapid ingress here. Get some Storm Boys into the Grey Knights DZ potentially, trying to go for Brother Captain Stern. It's good for contesting that back objective for sure. Although they're not going to be able to kill Stern, and Stern, there is a non-zero chance Stern kills the whole unit, although it's very remote, especially if you're WAD this turn. I don't know if the WA has been called. The what do we say? The WA. All right. I don't know if it's been called, but I assume that it has.
At 4 went down to 3.
Okay.
AdMech needed much more than they got
shooting.
points and data sheet change wise.
What's gonna blast?
That's
These guys
fair.
for seconds.
I was hoping,
Okay,
honestly, like this definitely feels like the weakest set of codexes we've gotten. The much weaker than Tyranids and Space Marines. Like, it feels like there is one detachment in each of the codexes that is very unironically extremely good, but the rest are not good, and it's very sad because that's not the paradigm that we got from the other two detachments.
It should actually just be a. Oh, actually, no. Someone's saying that. Yeah, I had it right. 4. That's wrong. 8 armor saves.
Okay. It's AP1, right?
Yeah, you have cover.
Okay, cool. So, on 4s. 2 damage each, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's.
One guy dies and one guy's at 1. Oh, wait. No, yeah, it's fine, because there's 6 now. Okay. I think it's 7 they have to be within 2.
Yep.
That is correct. That is how it do be.
Throw a grenade.
Shima, look at that cutie little Mandy Ray. What are my thoughts on Zangors in 10th edition? Are they fodder like cultists? Yeah, I think cultists are strictly better than them, unfortunately.
Already shot. Doesn't matter.
I actually don't really rate Zangors. The Zangor Shaman
Librarians.
always gives me,
Librarians can
like,
just
always
leave
makes me
those.
interested, because it's a Psyker. It's a extremely cheap 1,000 Sun Psyker character, so it generates Cabal points, and it can, like, use your special psychic powers. The problem, in my opinion, is that it's mounted.
Nice.
If it was infantry, which is, like, so weird, by the way, because it joins infantry units, and all the other discs, any 1,000 Sun Sorcerer on a disc is infantry, but the Zangors on disc are mounted. I don't know why. I don't understand it. But,
5 models.
that really restricts on where it can go.
Truck.
On the table and be useful utility. I think Flux Masters are probably just better. Although they don't give you, like, you don't benefit from all your strats and stuff. But I haven't decided yet. At one point, I'm probably going to do, like a sorcerer spam, like, meme list for 1,000 Suns, where we play only sorcerers.
Drago squad, the guys that can see, so it should be Drago plus.
And we'll
2
probably have
flavors,
some of those guys in there, but,
Alright.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the base Angors I don't really like, though. The fact that they don't automatically generate you Cabal points by holding objectives is kind of ludicrous.
AP1, no cover.
Hey, Archeon, thank you for the
Okay.
thank you for the
5.
subscription. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, well,
Thanks everybody for the support today. Exciting affiliate anniversary day. I guess it's the day I got my affiliate, like whatever, 2 years ago. Thanks everyone for who's been hanging out for the time. The Necron Destroyer detachment is very garbage. Yeah, that's really bad. Doesn't seem good to me, chats. I do think, I mean, many of the other Necron ones are pretty solid, though. Where are we going? This is very far.
I think he needs to be if at all possible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm not paying
3.
attention.
Yeah, wholly within, not within.
Sure. I'm not sure like this guy even fits. Like,
So we might get a charge from Drago anyway. Into the War Boss, potentially. Yeah. Alright, well, we're going for it, I guess. It's the go turn. If you can pop the truck and kill everyone inside with a charge, it does feel pretty good. And then again, you're representing Mist of Deimos. 3 CP or 2 CP available for Orc, so there is a potential for a what do you call it? So we're a little far over. Oh, but we do have the crane it's not measuring off of. But we do have the potential for an interrupt if they get stuck in. Weird that Necron Auras went down to 3. I mean, let's be real though. The Reanimator was real dumb. Why was it like a 12-inch aura? It was like the entire fucking table. It was so silly. I think, yeah, that's that. I'll die on the hill that I think that thing was a little silly.
I'll roll for
models.
this squad.
I think you just isn't it just roll for all and then you can allocate however you want still.
No, you roll for
You know, okay.
yeah. But you assign the mortal wounds as normal, so they go wherever you want.
He's good. The second squad kills this. Oh, you can assign. Can you assign them to the character?
No.
Okay. Whoever you want besides the character.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's assigned like normal saving throws, so they can't go on leaders until the rest of the unit's dead.
Yeah.
It's weirdness for hazardous checks, by the way, chat. There's like that's the mortal wounds. The mortal wound assignment in 40k has always been not very good. But hazardous checks, you choose a model to receive the effects of a failed hazardous check, which doesn't have the same restrictions as assigning damage. So that WCW fortunately fixed the hazardous check interaction, but it was previously that you could assign every single if you had multi-model units taking multi-damage from hazardous for taking mortal wounds, you could assign them each to individual models. Is the rules as written, but they said that was stupid. We don't want every single crisis battle suit to be down to 1 wound or whatever after hazardous.
Combo. So that's a miss. Next librarian will be red. Red soul.
Taking 2 is the ultimate event. Felt bad reanimating everything within 12. Yeah. When you saw the aura on the table, like when you looked at it and on TTS and you broadcast it out to the 12-inch circle, and it encompassed like your entire deployment zone, you're just like, all right. Maybe it doesn't need to be this big. I do agree that going down to 3 was probably too much of a nerf. I think it should have gone to 6. Or it should have been like, I don't know, 12 and line of sight or something. I think that, yeah, there are multiple levers that they could have pulled to make it less abusive, and I think they pulled the wrong one, or they pulled it too hard probably, but it is what it is. I still think it's probably fringe playable in like vehicle focused armies where it's just going to be like nut to butt with a monolith or something and just constantly repairing it. I think that's pretty okay.
We're in.
No, chat. Hazardous test is not by models. You roll for the number of models with hazardous weapons in your unit, and then you assign the results of the failed hazardous check after determining the number of failed results you got. It's super weird. So, like, for example, right, if you have a character with a plasma pistol and you have and you have like 2 dudes with plasma guns in a unit, if you overcharge all of them, you roll 3 hazardous checks, and then if you fail 2, for example, you could just choose to put those onto the models that aren't characters. The way the rules like on release were written is that you just simply tell them, like you simply would assign them one by one, but you didn't have to assign consecutive failed results to the same model. So you could like in that previous example, fail 2 out of the 3, assign 1 to a character and take 3 damage on him, and then assign a different one to one of the plasma gun models and kill him. And it was like it's like one of 2 ways to damage characters inside units before the unit is destroyed, which is I think definitely not the intention of the rule, and they ended up changing it. But the real problem was crisis battle suits, where you could take 2 failed hazardous checks on a character and then move to the rest of the unit, and the character could be down to 1 wound with his shield drones and like just be fine. It's just a little silly. Can't think of a single 9th edition aura that was 3 inches. I'm sure there were there's lots of like 3-inch effects, right? Like, you know, apothecaries and healing and stuff. I'm sure that there were 3-inch auras. What's Batrep's aura? He used to, I think he also had a -1 toughness aura, right? In 9th edition? Was his small?
Next we'll go for
and I think Skitari Vanguard were 3 inches, I want to say.
11.
They might have been 1 and then they extended with that weird detachment. It's not a long list for sure. No, Skitari Vanguard was engagement range. A Biophagus had a 3-inch action it could do.
Just want to block it so a guy can't fit in there.
Batrep still gives the flash kits rerolls. He gives them reroll hits. We might see that. We might see that come into play this game. We do have a Batrep in the Orcs army. Foul Blightspawn? Oh, Foul Blightspawn. They were 3 inches, yeah. For the, well, they were a choose. Were they a choose within
any
3?
amount of real guys into here.
They had 2 auras, right? Because one was the relic that you always took, which was not count as charging, and then yeah, that was choose 1 within 3. I think the awkward part is like persistent auras that were 3 inches are very rare. almost all of the fight last was either engagement range or 3 inches in 9th edition. Skew Neon, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you.
And we'll just roll for some 9s over here.
Jamaharan, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by castling. If your question is whether infantry can go through walls, the answer is yes.
Red.
Like with their movement.
We'll CP this one.
Alright.
Nope. Green. Nope. Alright. Combat, we'll start with...
I do have 2 CP.
Yep. We'll start with Drago.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna fight on death.
Orcs is never beaten, chat.
Oh boy.
Oh Lord, they coming.
That's good.
What happens if you have more than 1,000 points in aircraft that can't hover? I think the other ones just die. Chat.
Okay. They're
unironically, the game blue screens.
AP2?
AP2 damage.
I think that
Okay.
the Leviathan packet has just assumed that you won't do that. But yeah, I think the game breaks. And my opinion would be that any of the aircraft that cannot begin the game in reserves are destroyed.
Start with the war boss.
It is very rare you can do that. Because there are very few factions that have access to more than... to enough aircraft. I guess it's like... Thank you, chat. It's like probably Drukhari for sure. Like Eldar. Maybe... Imperial Guard can do it. I guess... Could Space Marines do it? I think they only have 6, but their guys are cheap as ships. They have little gunships. Oh, most of the Space Marine aircraft can hover actually.
2 damage each.
Yeah, it's like rare that you actually build to have that much stuff. Maybe Tau can. I don't know how much their planes are. Oh my god. How many Terminators we just killed? So they killed the boys. They killed the knobs. Lost 4. That's pretty good. They do have a Narthessium in the unit, so they're going to start to respawn, but that's a solid 2 CP spend from the Orcs. Only one of these units can miss a Deimos as well, so if they don't mitigate the second War Boss, these guys might just stand here and then charge to Drago and do that again. And his unit's going to be significantly smaller.
Get into the squigs.
Yep.
Cool.
All the regular dudes are in.
Chad, this is Tabletop Simulator. You can get it for like $20 on Steam, and all the 40k mods are free. ! How to play if you want to get into our new player tutorial playlist. There's a bunch of tutorials on 40k in general, but there's also a bunch in there on how to install Tabletop Simulator and the 40k mods, as well as how to actually play the game and use all of the mods. They're from 9th edition, but the information is still relevant. And if you come join in the Discord, ! Discord, we play all the time. We launch typically multiple tournaments a week, and there are people there playing like almost literally all hours of the day and in casual games and pickup games. So come hang out. We play this constantly.
Kills a wounded guy. Kills another dude. Kills another dude. Kills another dude. Kills.
Prevent you charging through walls if you're 1 inch off the wall to the base of it. Yes, correct. That is the core rules, chat. You cannot finish a move with your model intersecting the wall. That's how 40k works.
Yeah, gonna kill him too.
Okay.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, so the fight on death there meant that we couldn't use Artist Nails on the Squig Hog unit, so they just got picked up by the Paladin team. Whoa. That's a hit. That's a big smash from the Grey Knights. And everybody's on the table as well. The downside for this Orcs list is it doesn't have a lot of powerful shooting, so it doesn't have good interaction against the librarians. Like, the benefit for armies that have solid shooting and good target selection is that they can just pick up the singleton librarian and maybe they can kill a librarian unit when the turn they come in, so you don't get doom dropped the second time. But I don't believe the Orcs have the beef. Well, maybe Batrep could kill the singleton librarian, but he is, I believe, over in the corner. Yeah, he's on the other side of the table. I don't know if he's going to get line of sight. Interesting.
Defend behind enemy lines. Let's get 10. Let's see if my Gretchens give me CP. Yeah. There we go, Gretchens. Let's show the deployment zones. That's doable for sheets. Cool. I'll just show them. I'll show them till like. Okay. Movement phase.
The wobbly model rules are specifically for, well, to be fair, it's not a rule. It's just a tip. But it is specific. It's for situations in which your model can fit but would fall over, which is why it's called wobbly model. They used to have a section in there in 9th edition that specified that you had to have the space to fit your model, to fit your base wherever your actual position would be. It looks like they removed that actually. Oh yeah. No, actually no, they do say so. You can, in cases like this, in cases where your model would fall over, provided it's still physically possible to place the model in the desired location, you may find it helps to leave the model in a safer position. So not even the wobbly model guidelines allow you to place models inside terrain. You still need to have the space to fit the model in its base.
I'll advance the Storm Boys right here. 18. Oh, I'm there, watch. Okay.
Archeon, played a few games, have it all running, including Battle Scribe and Yellow Scribe. Is that enough experience to play casual game? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the casual games is usually, as long as you're upfront with your opponent on your skill level and sort of the competitiveness of the game that you want, you'll almost always have a good time. The competitive games, obviously, like, get ready to face the tough stuff. But I do always recommend that people come play the tournament events as well, because that's where a lot of the players come from is in the tournaments in the server, and within the first round or two, you're playing people who are around the same skill level as you, and you're going to learn a ton. Plus the pod events are free, so that's exciting too.
T5.
And there's no like pressure on them at all either. If you're not feeling it and you don't want to play, then it is totally acceptable to concede your game or drop the event. So they're just like totally chill. So looks like we took an Overwatch over here onto the Stormboy squad to get rid of them. We're on defend stronghold behind enemy lines. Overwhelming force was pulled for Headstrong last turn, and he kept it. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that if he goes here and gets lucky with Brother Captain Stern and knocks the Stormboys out, then he's going to he would score that. Oh no, he wouldn't score that. The unit needs to start on the table. Or start on the objective. So I guess it is actually going to be a little bit difficult for Grey Knights to score overwhelming force this game. If the Orcs don't end up on the objective, that might be tough. I guess what's probably going to happen is that Orcs will push up into the center. The Paladin squad will probably uppy downy or Mist of Deimos in response, and then come back in and kill whoever's on that objective next turn. Then Headstrong can get an easy 5. Also, if he fails to kill the Storm Boys, then Stern can kill them next turn, and then he'd be fine too, which is kind of funny.
There. 15. Cool. Ooh. What do they have? They could kill it. Would be unfortunate. They have a feel no pain against psychic attacks. Okay.
There he goes, straight mortal wound protection. These guys are just psychic.
Cool. They'll just move 12 up. He'll move 12 up like that. I think the Gretchen gonna move out slightly. I'll just advance them. Okay.
The only difference between competitive and casual is expectations about the game. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. There's also, I think, there's a sort of level of power and synergy I think you expect in competitive games that you don't necessarily know if you're going to get in casual games. But that is to some extent, I found, like,
this other unit of Storm Boys.
kind of unique to 40k. I don't know if this makes sense to people, but I guess it's also the case for like a lot of other competitive games. I shouldn't say that entirely, but like where people, you know, are more or less comfortable with like levels of army construction in competitive or casual games. But I think that's also the case for like Magic the Gathering too. If you're playing in casual Magic, you don't really want all like the insane combo decks in there. But a lot of other games I know, you kind of
think so.
You'll always play sort of like synergistic armies, regardless of what sort of format you're playing in.
Nice.
If that makes sense. I don't really know where I'm going with this tangent.
He's just outside.
It's WTC chat.
Okay,
it's
I think that
the ending models inside walls is 100% a WTC thing. It's like a total fabrication that they made up because they don't like people being able to block charges, which is what it is. I mean, I understand people not liking the interaction, but to some extent, it's just how the game is written. And so, like, you should, I think it's okay. That's neither here nor there, though. I've already talked about. I have a whole video on why I don't like that rule. I don't even necessarily disagree with the philosophy behind the rule. You know, I think making melee better tends to improve the game. But it is a house rule that somebody wrote because they didn't like the interaction, and that's what it is, I guess.
There.
How did a guy get mad when you had 25 Terminators in a casual game?
gonna
Yeah,
shoot
and you're like, what else am I gonna play, my dude? How dare you take so many Terminators? Like, yeah, well, the other unit is Strike Marines. Like,
Flash gets struck.
You take your pick. I could take the big Grey Knights or the little Grey Knights. Yeah. Some of these indexes, you don't have too many list options to play with.
What's up?
At the AOC.
Yes. They're -1 to wound 2, right?
Yeah, if you're stronger than me.
Okay. Hitting on 5s and 6s.
Should be at least a second floor to charge up to. I
On
mean, I guess so.
4s.
But that's also like typically so difficult that it's the same as not being able to charge, right?
8 AP
Because getting a model to the second floor, you know, assuming that you're, let's say it's a 5-inch charge, and then it's a 3-inch floor, and then you're a 40 mil base. In order to get to make that charge, you've made it like a 10-inch charge, right? Because you have to get to the wall, have enough movement to get your base through the wall, which is probably 2 inches, then get up above the wall, so another 3 more inches. So you're adding 5 inches to your charge anyway. So it's like functionally the same, even if there's multi-level terrain.
Does he hurt himself? He does hurt the truck.
All right, Batrick,
It's not very nice.
Badrick laying down the pain here into these paladins. To charge things on the second floor, you only need to enter your movement directly under. You have a 5-inch vertical coherency, but what we're talking about is a situation where you're wall screened, right? So you've created a situation where the charging attacker can't fit their base between the wall and the defending unit, which means that in order for the vertical coherency to matter, they would need to be above or below the unit defending that position. So they would need to be able to climb the building to get above them and then fight downwards, basically. Yeah, I don't know. It's multi-level terrain. You know, it's cool and thematic, and it's like interesting sometimes, but I think that it adds so much like bizarre minutia to the game that I don't know if it's really worth it. But to be fair, I think it's okay. I don't have any problems with it, but it is like it's less abusable in 9th edition or in 10th edition than it was in 9th, but oh boy, is it still not great. The amount of funky, stupid stuff you can do with multi-level terrain is pretty silly. I have a whole video on it. Yeah, I remember at one point my opponent was like he had very carefully screened out his characters. So he was like wall screened off an objective, and had his characters like underneath the building, like underneath, like on the first floor of the terrain underneath the second floor level, and I think it was like a 2-level building. And I had a Hive Tyrant just bounce to the top of that building and then smite downwards and made them the closest model and then killed them with smite. I also like had situations where I charged a unit, or I charged the character through a unit because I could charge the top of a building and then fight down as well, like that, and you could still do most of that stuff. It's very gamey. It's much better now that like peeking characters out of units isn't contingent on extricating them from their like surrounding bodyguards. It's all about actually killing the unit now. So the number of instances where that matters is like a lot less dramatic, but the times that it happened were kind of insane. Old fly was dumb, new fly's dumb, can't get something in the middle. I mean, I think new fly's fine. Just play like a normal unit. I think there's like a happy medium where you move vertically, but you like subtract the height of intervening terrain from your movement or something, so you don't have to double pay for it. Where like if I move 12 inches and I move across a 6-inch wall, then I just move 6 inches and move through the wall. Like that's probably fine. But right now it's like, yeah, the trigonometry to make fly work is kind of silly. But it was way too powerful in the previous edition. It was strictly the strongest keyword in the game, with no question about it.
Is this guy touching, by the way, or is he?
I don't think so. I think he's just out.
Okay.
Yeah. If I charge in, he's probably just gonna kill me, and then I won't get behind.
Yeah. So
whatever.
The Storm Boys are. Yeah, it would be a big swing if they went in there.
Phase.
But it also, I mean, it probably gives Headstrong up a point on overwhelming force next turn if he charges into stern.
I'll pop Unbridled Carnage, so crit on 5s. I'll fight with the War Boss first.
All right, Drago's unit might go down here.
On 2s.
The big knob squad.
Oh, one sustained.
Can Orc Fight on Death work in both
2,
turns? I believe that it can, but it's 2
2.
CP.
Oh, AP1, right?
It's anytime you're selected to by an enemy melee attack in the fight phase. So I believe that you can do it on an interrupt in the opponent's fight phase, for example, or in your own fight phase. But it's so expensive that we don't have CP for it anyway. Instead, we're using Unbridled Carnage.
No, it's just his attack squig.
No, was that the hit roll or the wound roll?
Oh, that was the wound roll. Either good. And then the other knobs.
There's one died to the explosion for your roll.
Okay.
When you fly through an enemy model, do you fly over it? No, you move. You move through it. Yeah, you don't have to measure. You don't have to measure through the air movement for models. You just go through them and ignore them. It's through the air movement is only for terrain.
Goes to AP1.
That's me 2 ups. So kill the guy.
Advanced zone throws over a unit of gaunts into the Tyrant
it's
Assaultor.
AP2 goes
Were they enemy gaunts? Because otherwise you can just do it.
3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Cool.
I'm playing I guess like I'm spoiled because I play Magnus all the time. So Fly's actually super good because he's jumping over models, he's jumping over enemy models, and he's jumping over his own rhinos and stuff all the time. Same for Winged Hive Tyrants. When I was playing multiple Winged Hive Tyrants in Vanguard Onslaught, that was really nice too because they could jump over each other, which is cool. Poly principle. But the rules say through. As you're just slamming your demon prince into your opponent's like land raider. That's the benefit of taking metal models to the game store, chat, is that your models are more resilient than your opponent's plastic. But I'm supposed to move through your Forge World Knight Porphyrion, you said, as you physically smashed it into pieces.
Yeah, so just these two won't be able to fight. Cool. I'll start with the boss knob. Two AP2. 2 damage. And then so 8, 24 attacks.
Yeah, that's why you need one of the metal models that with like a big chunky body. I'm imagining like an old Terminator where their like little plastic arms just pop off, but they got that big metal carapace that you're just smashing your opponent with.
6 AP1.
Bonk, bonk.
Oh my god, hilarious.
Was that Headstrong's
And then-
saving roll? Oh my god. Just picked up the entire Terminator unit with that charge.
Into knob score. Here's the one solo. Into the knobs.
Okay.
2 AP2. 2 damage.
Alright.
Okay, obviously double 6, cool. Drago himself.
Cool.
Soul Strider, by the way, I'm totally with you. I think monsters and vehicles, more so than infantry, should be able to go through walls. It's weird that infantry can go through walls and monster and vehicles can't. Like, that's just strange. Like, I don't understand it. I don't know. Like, if anything, the larger models should be the ones that have more flexibility in their maneuvering, because infantry units are infantry. To some extent, like, just make area terrain like area terrain. Let things just phase through it. I don't know. 40k is like such a bizarre game for terrain interactions because it's like so weird. So we ended up not we didn't get any Mists of Deimos happening. But the Narthessium guy survived in the Terminator squad, so the Terminator's gonna come back. But that means that the paladins are still on the table, and all the librarian gun line is back here. So the librarians can probably just like shoot out the war boss. You eat the non-charge hit from the boys, and then Drago probably kills them all. Yeah, I think, wow, this interaction worked out really well for Grey Knights. They got 2 big units on the charge, took the swing back, didn't quite die.
So the librarian.
Okay.
Did Milwaukee just say he won? Oh, he didn't win last turn? Oh, jeez. He also didn't contest this objective, so Grey Knight's just gonna go score a 15. Wow. Yeah, Headstrong's dramatically in the lead here, I think, for sure. But interestingly, his overwhelming force is just not... It's a bad draw in the hand. We also have a push onto the Orc home objective, too, so they can blank defend stronghold. Oh, and he got capture enemy outpost. Chat! Oh my god, it is all coming up Grey Knights right now. This Brother Captain's Paladin squad is gonna wander forward, kill a bunch of dudes, score himself 8 points. If he kills the Gretchen even, he could score himself even more with overwhelming force, and then deny 3 points on his opponent's turn. So that's like a this unit right here is immediately like a 16-point swing. That was huge. Oh my god. It's wild that swarms can't. Yeah, if anything, swarms should be able to. Like what? Like infantry are supposed to like be blowing holes in buildings and stuff, but a little baby ripper can't like find a way, can find a little crevice. Infantry and beasts can open the doors. Vehicles don't have hands. Monsters and mounted can't use their hands to open doors. Swarms are too dumb. Yeah, but yeah, but how do the beasts do it? They're not clever
It
girls.
looked like it was 2. I just didn't check.
It's all good, bro.
Just fixing coherency here on the Paladin side team so we don't lose extra dudes. The awkward part is that the Paladins don't have Narthessiums in their unit, so they can't regenerate casualties. Wow, this turn was so good for Headstrong, by the way, I think. Well, we'll see how good it is. He's got to kill some stuff. There is another knob unit inside this red truck. So, and I believe it's behind the train here, so there's not going to be too much line of sight onto it. So it's really not in danger of being killed. I almost wonder if we maybe wanted to see some of these Terminators pick up and drop in the back and shoot their mind bullets into the truck and soften it up, but it probably would have been a little bit funky. Yeah, they don't really have too many good targets. I think we just fire it to the Flash Kids truck and try to kill it to get overwhelming force, probably. The problem is that Comp 40k forces everyone to turn what should be porous walls into solid bricks. Yeah, that is a big issue. I agree. Again, I think, and I mean, we played with the terrain keyword rules for a season in 9th edition, where we had obscuring terrain that wasn't solid walls, and I think it worked really well. Right? You had like forests and other area terrain with lots of areas to move through that was obscuring, so that you weren't necessarily playing this game that was entirely composed of walls. But the community never really took to that, even though I think that it was really one of the big benefits of the 9th edition terrain system. I think the obscuring keyword was so smart and so well implemented. The new obscuring rules are less good, especially because they are connected to ruins rather than being open to any type of terrain receiving them. And it was like such a boon to TOs as well, because you don't need the big like solid wall ruins to play a game of 40k, right? You could just construct terrain that's, you know, largely based, and then you put some three-dimensional elements on the base to make it look nice, but the obscuring rules is what determines your line of sight rather than the physical pieces on the board. And I think that's like so much better gameplay. But the community said they didn't like that, so it is what it is. We were downvoted, chat. I was not stealing your Jurassic Park joke. I was reiterating your Jurassic Park joke. Don't sick H bomber god me, please. Harris is so scary. He's too scary. Yeah, well, the issue with the other terrain types, right, is that, like, they don't do anything that ruins don't do, right? Like, they have the defense line feature on pipes and barricades, which I like, and I've always kind of liked that rule, and I wish that they would implement something like that. If people are that worried about the wall screening on ruins effect, you can just give them defense line. Like, and that was the case in 9th edition, too. The mechanic existed in the game to prevent that from happening, and no one used it. People were just like, nah, it's fine. We'll make a house rule around it. And you're like, why? there's literally there's structure within the framework of the game to use that. But you know, outside of that, right? Everything is just a surface that provides cover, but they don't block line of sight. So there's no reason to use them, if that makes sense. This might pull Headstrong off of this objective. It might, probably not, actually. I think it's okay. I think it's a big issue. I think it's a big issue with the terrain rules in general, that like terrain that isn't a ruin is just so impotent, like within the mechanics of the game. Like, it just, you know, everything just gives cover in different ways. Like, why don't any of these effects have any other, you know, why don't any of these terrain features have any other effects besides just giving cover? I think that's the real issue. Gonna see me start building and painting Slanesh models now that Twitch allows new rules. Oh, what? Yeah, there's a Twitch like terms of service update, right? I have not read it. I don't know what's in it. Somebody give me the gist. 40k doesn't have a train system? Yeah, it just has a ruin system. It has a system to replicate ruin terrain. And that's it.
Hey, we're just shooting. This librarian will just shoot his gun into these guys first, the solo guy.
I'll go from... Okay, he's shooting into the Storm Boys?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Nothing, then Purge Soul. Stern will shoot there. 1. The librarian will use his ability onto the wall boss squad.
Okay.
Let's see, can kill himself? Nope. Takes 2.
We can now draw upper bodies of male and female nudes as long as they're not
Red librarian
sexual.
will use his ability onto the wall boss squad.
Okay.
Alright.
Red librarian goes off.
Try to read the AOS train rules if I want to feel good. I watched, there's a guy on YouTube who makes like AOS like sort of ridiculous rules content for AOS of like the bizarre rule way like terrain rules work. And I remember he had a very passionate video about like terrain verticality in AOS and how it is like simply not covered, and it never describes to you how to resolve like close combat situations where units are engaged across vertical terrain, and there's like a clause that specifies that or implies that units can like overlap each other and stand each other on top of each other to successfully complete charges and like on top of terrain or something like that. I was just like, it was like wild. I do remember that very, very well.
Oh, wait, those two red ones. I see where all these ones.
Man, Psy Cannon's going ham on the Flash Kids truck. Here we go.
Okay, AP1 goes AP nothing.
There he goes.
And
See ya.
damage.
And he's dead. Does it explode?
Model can
It
hover against a wall. And you just
does.
pretend up how far it is. Yeah. I appreciated that video. Yeah, that guy had a whole series of those like bizarre AOS rules. I love that stuff, dude. I'm a game mechanics nerd, and so any of that stuff where like rules do like weird and unintended things is like my favorite. I think it is, which is clear. That's like literally all I talk about on my YouTube channel now.
Let's put it on me.
We were creating rules verticality rules for Breach Storm. We're going to add as an optional rule for casual play. And trying to make it within the framework of Breach Storm, but not be like an insane, like convoluted mess has been an interesting challenge. I think we got a pretty good, we have a pretty good like binary system. You just like break things into levels. Are we careening? Hold up. Perfect time to paint some Sladesh models. I wasn't worried about Twitch looking at my tiny channel anyway. Y'all gonna report me? Is anybody gonna report me if I paint a demonette on stream? I do have a bunch of demonettes.
Can't just move through
Hazard test for
there.
psychic weapons are not psychic mortals. Yeah, that one's a weird one. That one's super bizarre. A psychic ability, yes. A psychic weapon, no. What? It's so weird. The psychic attack rule is just bad. I think they like knew what they wanted it to say, but then had forgotten that they had included it in the rulebook. And like for a while, until the first data slate, I think, you couldn't resolve weapons with psychic. You couldn't resolve attacks with psychic weapons unless you had the psyker keyword. So if you had psychic weapons on a non-psyker like blue horrors, you just couldn't attack with them. They weren't allowed to attack when the game came out. Like, it's just nutty. Like, who wrote that rule? That's so stupid.
Unless I could block you.
In 8th edition, no gun could shoot. In 8th edition, assault weapons didn't do anything. They fixed that in 9th edition. But yeah, in 8th edition, assault weapons, like, functionally, rules as written did not do anything. Yeah, it was because I believe it was that the assault weapon ability didn't have the rider that they added in 9th that allowed you to be selected to shoot when you advanced. It just says that you could resolve attacks with assault weapons when you advanced, but the unit was still ineligible to shoot. And everyone was just like, we know how it works. Shut up, GW. Stop being stupid. And then they finally fixed that in 9th edition. That's a very good loophole, though. I appreciate that one so much. Yeah. The 10th edition assault weapon thing. Okay. I feel like that's an oversight by the design team that they... Like, my tinfoil hat headcanon is that the design team included this wording and then released all the missions and we're like, hey, by the way, we're doing this thing with actions where actions isn't like a core mechanic anymore. It's just a thing. And you're like, okay, fair enough. And then they like forgot about pistols and assault weapons and the events team was just like, fuck it. We're just going to pretend it's intentional. That's kind of how it worked out in my head. Because I remember when the edition came out, like Mike Brandt was like, look at this weird thing you can do with assault weapons. And he did it on stream at one point. I think he specifically called it out when the rule was previewed. And I was like, there's no way that was intended. There's no way. But it makes assault and pistol weapons really strong. Which, to be honest, it's kind of whatever. They could remove that rule, and they should codify actions, to be fair, in the game anyway. But they could close that loophole, I don't think I would be that upset about it. Cleansing with pistols in a fight, yeah, it's very silly.
Is that all the flash gets?
But it's kind of like 10th edition is the game of like bizarre unit keywords, right? Where you just like you can have unit keywords that will just wildly change the power level of a unit. You add the grenade keyword to anything, and it like increases its play rate by like 10%, right?
Yeah, let's roll for the teal truck. 1. Let's roll for the
Yeah, flamers are
Gretchen.
no longer assault, chat. That's a big one.
2. Let's roll for the red truck.
It hasn't felt so big though, because it feels like 90% of the units in 10th edition
Alright.
that are shooting with flamers either have an advance and shoot baked in because they're Space Marines, or they are disembarking a transport, or coming out of reserve. Like, it feels like you very rarely want to advance and shoot flamers anyway. But it does make them worse at doing actions, which is, you know, whatever.
First, Red Squad Flamer. Two, 1 AP, no cover.
You know, my favorite unit that has grenades is
Takes them both.
Crusaders.
the
Land
truck,
Raider
right?
Crusaders.
Okay.
Because they have the frag launchers on the front. So they're like, here, a grenade keyword. So that thing could just go in and plow you. Between that and a tank shock for 2 CP, plow you for like 10 mortal wounds.
Just 2 more.
It's like average is like 7. It's like almost one shot's a light vehicle for 2 CP by itself without shooting or doing anything else. It's just like so randomly powerful.
This one, no AP.
And it's not even that like useful in every situation. But every once in a while, every 10 games, you
Yeah.
come to a situation where you have a bunch of CP and a Land Raider Crusader, and you're like, hey,
Green Squad.
take 1 billion automatic damage.
Flamer will shoot, and then the Librarian. Flamer. Bull. Nothing. Combi weapon. 2 hits. Nothing. Very soul. Don't care about the buggles. Alright. Chargerinos. Can't fail. Can't fail. Can't fail, but I want the big charge there. We'll charge the Paladins first. We're gonna charge just the red truck.
Okay.
Stay at 1 inch there.
Here come the Paladins, coming to take all your home objectives. That's going to be a big swing right there if they are able to clear this out. But we do have 2 OC from the Gretchen. So it's going to take a lot to clear out this objective. Or to prevent the... Yeah, actually it won't. Yeah, we just need 10 OC on it. Oh, which actually might be tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-oh. Chat. You know, maybe we can get in and fight? Do we have enough attacks to kill them, though? We might actually not be able to take this. That's an 11-point swing if they're able to kill him. Drop within 3 grenade, librarian psychobility. Oh, yeah. So, do the Granite Terminators have grenades? I guess we could just look up their data sheet. Oh my god, I still have the stratagem up, chat. Oh! I've been distracted! I'm sorry. At least we have a really good look at what Unbridled Carnage does. That was my bad. I apologize, everyone. Paladins do indeed have grenades. Dude, that's so badass. Are they the only Terminators with grenades besides the Relic Terminator guy? But they do have little grenades on their belts, so they get the keyword.
There we go.
Super good. $18 mortal wounds to Silent King in 1 turn. Yeah, dude. That's what they do.
Charge green into the boys.
They are, to be fair, some of the only, at least ranged, like consistent. I don't even want to say consistent, but like reasonable range damage output that the faction has. And if you kill them, they just go away. Especially if they don't all have bodyguards, then it's like things get really awkward for them. They have that's why they have grenades, because they have psych out grenades. But the models, like if you look at the model on the sheet, right? Like the dude with the hammer, like on his right hip, like they literally have little grenades on them, which is like sort of why they have them.
Radio charge the truck.
But they're meant to represent their psych out grenades, which I appreciate are just a generic thing now. The psych out grenades were so bad in 9th edition. It was just like, it was almost worthless having a separate profile for them, because they were like strength garbage, but like rerolls against psychers or whatever, like demons and psychers. Like, who cared? It was just worse than shooting your storm bolter 90% of the time.
I guess burn charges probably.
So I think it obviously is unlikely or even potentially impossible for the Grey Knights to be able to knock out the knobs inside the truck here. And the knobs inside the truck are not material to who controls its objective this turn. So this big 11-point score, the defend stronghold plus capture enemy outpost trade, is not going to care about whether the knobs survive or not. What's going to be a big question is how many paladins get into the aggression. It looks like 2. We might be able to swing 3 with the banner guy. 3 has a pretty good chance of killing the unit because they're 4 attacks each hitting on 2s. But I think we are wad out right now, so they have an invuln save. And we have to kill a bunch of them because we have 5 off the objective here, and we have to kill the guys on the objective too. So we have to kill like probably 8 or something for things to be reasonable. Yeah, it seems good. Oh, so we might get 4? Ooh. Headstrong rolling a big charge with this was kind of a big deal. Pre-10th edition, GW never managed to make grenades good. Yeah, that's for sure. They were always just like something to remember, which was kind of annoying. I mean, they were okay in like 5th, right? Because they had like a persistent effect that wasn't like, they just made you better at charging into ruins, which is like okay, right? It wasn't, but it didn't require you to like specifically make attacks with them or anything silly. Which I thought was fine. I don't know if they ever needed to actually deal damage. But like the 9th edition grenades were just like, oh, did I remember to swap my bolter shot for a grenade shot this turn? It was always kind of like annoying. You're like, technically this is slightly higher expected damage to throw like the 1d6 like AP 2d3 damage attack. Or the 1 strength 6, I should say.
Okay.
But it never felt good to do, you know? They are very powerful now. But I do kind of feel like they're maybe too powerful.
So once the attacks from them.
Into the Gretchen first?
Yeah.
Okay. It only matter if you had higher initiative. Didn't it matter all the time? Weren't units defending ruins considered initiative 10? But you used normal initiative. Oh, I guess like you used normal initiative if you had grenades. So if you had a higher initiative than I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's not that the charging unit got to fight first, it's that you just went back to the normal order.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cool.
Alright, so we did clear enough grots to steal the objective away. And the knobs will only count for their OC for the coming fight. Or the coming turn. They're not going to count for Headstrong's turn here. So I think that we did get the capture enemy outpost. Man, this paladin unit has just been blitzing it this game. Holy crap. Yeah, biologous putrefiers are a little silly on their grenade output. Fortunately, it's like only once per game. It's funny because I remember very distinctly, I think, saying like I didn't think that biologous putrefiers were very good. Although to be fair, that was before they got points cut. They went down like 20 points, I think, and then the Plague Marine squads also went down like 20 points. But I was like, oh, they're just like, they just buffed the Plague Marine squad. It doesn't feel like that's really worth it. And I guess if they're like 70 points a model or whatever they were at launch, that makes sense. But when they went down to like, they're like 45 now, it's like so good. Oh my god, I ate crow on that call. I was like, Plague Marines are you want to be trading with them, so you don't necessarily want to put expensive characters in them. But then that character ended up being insanely strong. So. Whoopsies. They're 50. But they were more expensive first MFM, right? They were like 60 or 70. Maybe I'm wrong. They were 75? Yeah, okay. Alright. I guess I feel like a little bit. a little vindicated, I guess. That they were for sure too expensive at the beginning, but now they're like wildly efficient. But yeah, those things rule. The first time you've ever had like 3 foul bite spawn, like jump out of transports and then just grenade you for 10 mortal wounds, it's a real eye opener. You're like, hold up, I was supposed to have units here. You were supposed to have to charge me. Why am I just dead? And then they shoot their plasma guns and they like lethal hits on 5s on the plasma guns, and you're like, oh god, please stop. This is too much damage. Yeah, I agree with that. I do like that Plague Marines are good. I think the GW has really learned a lot about the tactical Marine body, because it feels like all of the tactical Marine equivalents in the game, besides actual tactical Marines, ironically, like are actually pretty good. Like at least all the Chaos guys, like Rubrics and Legionaries and Noise Marines and Plague Marines and Corn Berserkers are all pretty widely played and are very different and have like interesting and efficient places to in their respective factions that they fill.
5 AP2 goes AP.
Oof.
Kills guy.
Extra squiggies.
War boss just beating up on Count Rodrigo over here. Poor guy. He doesn't deserve that kind of treatment.
Yes, we just chop the orcs.
Okay.
Don't want to kill this war boss though. I'll kill him next turn. Maybe. Yeah, we'll just swing into the orcs.
The boys? Alright.
Yeah, it's Drago. Every time. 3.
No.
3 damage each. I think that's just them dead.
Yeah. Alright. That's it.
Yeah, truck and grot over here.
I'm not gonna swing with the bot. Oh no, I have to hit the truck. Yeah, okay.
Get him, Grot. Stick him in the eye.
One AP nothing. Wrecking ball. It's wounds. Oh no, they're -1 wounds. Never mind. Okay, that's it.
Yep, I'll get 8 for capture, 3 for overwhelming, because I killed this one thing here. Close to killing this Garchin. Right.
Oh yeah. That's true. Okay. Don't get defend.
That was a big turn for Grey Knights.
Let's see. Overwhelming force. Okay.
5 primary.
Get 5 primary.
We do still have this war boss sticking in the fight here.
Truck's gonna heal 1.
Although his
Is the
knobs
truck
are dead,
battle-
so
Oh, let's
no
see
minus
if
one
my
wound
Gretchen
anymore.
gives me CP. They do.
Does he have to be not battle structures, or is it just anyway?
It's this squad of Gretchen.
Oh, okay.
Is my truck battle shocked? It is. Is that little Gretchen battle shocked? It is. Battle shocked. All right. No. Okay. Nothing in the command phase. Movement phase. Here, these guys. These guys will advance. 16. I'll advance these Storm Boys back here. Oh. Do I want to re-roll that? Well. No. Cool. All right. Don't know if these boys are gonna do anything. I want this Gretchen to fall back right here. Let's see if he dies. No. Probably move this dude closer. Boys truck 1. I'm gonna advance it. Cool. So this is gonna be like this. Then the flash gets. No, you're not gonna get 2024. I'll advance with the flash gets. A 7. I think this truck. Nah, it's gonna stay where it is. Should I get these guys out? I don't know. These guys do nothing. These guys do nothing. Should they run out or should they just wait? I have another squad. I think the boys in this truck will get out. Do they wait? I think they'll wait. They won't get out. Oh well. I'll advance the Gretchen. Okay. Coolio. I think that's all of the normal movement. Yeah. Shooting. War Boss was shooting his own melee with the Twin Slugger. Wee! Nice. I think it's 20. Yes. No. Truck might as well. Truck might as well shoot in its own melee.
I wouldn't, because I'll just sigil away.
Oh, even if you're in engagement range?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good call out by Headstrong there.
Good
just
to know.
making sure his opponent doesn't mess up and like, lose himself the game.
This
Like, oops,
unit
I've
of
disembarked my knob
Stormboys-
squad and then done nothing. Oopsie daisies.
Should they try to throw a grenade into Stern or the Librarian? They'll throw a grenade into this solo Librarian.
Wait.
Ah,
Oh,
man.
no.
Can he kill them all? No. Actually, they'll throw a grenade into Stern. I'll throw a grenade into Stern. Three mortals.
Wait.
Cool.
There's Stern's respawn coming into play.
I guess the Stormboys
Probably
can
force
shoot
the
their sluggers
Storm
into
Boys to
the
charge in.
Brotherhood Librarian.
Yep.
Nothing. Cool. And then that's it. Charges.
Just Stern to get back up. He does not.
Ooh, but he failed it. That is unlucky.
Rip. Storm Boys
Ouchie,
into
that
the
hurts.
Brotherhood Librarian. I should, yeah.
Downside of being a 2+
They'll go with the
ability.
Brotherhood Librarian. Okay.
So Orcs kept Defense Stronghold this turn. They have overwhelming force, which should be an easy pickup, especially because we got Stern already, so we're halfway there. So we're probably good for, and I don't think that
the knob, this knob squad will go into the Paladin squad.
Yep.
I don't feel that we have the beef on the Thousand Sun side or the Thousand Suns. I have Thousand Suns on the mind chat. On the Grey Knight side to actually prevent the Orcs from scoring again. Or from scoring defend again. So we probably are good for an 8 this round on secondaries. That brings it to 47-49. That is a tight game. Jesus. Yeah, this is going to be a banger of a late game here. And I do wonder, like, we saw so much damage come out of these Grey Knights, but they are really low on resources, especially because Stern is dead. So they've kind of lost their back line. They're going to have to teleport us all reposition over there. The hope is that Drago can kill the War Boss this turn to clear that out and start to regenerate his unit. And then he can hopefully turn around and deal with the Storm Boys back here. And then the Librarians can sort of just like portal around the table and hopefully get some stuff done. But it is scary. And we'll see how much damage we get done on the Paladins here. If we get Batrep up in there to do their -1 toughness, that will actually put the knobs to winning on 2s, which they'll then go to 3s thanks to the Paladin's Transhuman. But that's a big change. That's a big difference in the output. I think we're going to see a bunch of Paladins laid low here.
All right. Fight phase. Uh-oh. I'll fight with the knobs first.
Yeah, I'll let you see.
Okay, cool. So everybody but one dude is going to be able to fight them. I'll do Unbridled Carnage. Let's do the War Boss. On 2s. On 3s. 7 AP 1.
Let's go.
Cool. And then 16 attacks. 3s. 3s.
These guys are strength, what? 8?
They're gonna be strength 10.
Okay. Oh my god.
Alright.
I'll pull this guy.
Oh, I should have done that. Oh well. Okay. The Flash Gits will fight next. Oh, I was wondering on 2s because it minus 1 toughness. Oh well.
What's the range of his aura? Is it like 3 inches?
6.
It'd still be 3s anyway, because you go. I'm -1 to wound if you're strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter.
Literally doesn't matter. That's why I asked if you were strength 10.
Yeah. Only like 2 dudes. 2 dudes would be able to fight.
Well, this is an underswing.
3s.
We did talk about how good that true silver armor is against orcs in the beginning, and
Oh,
oh boy, are we seeing it
boys.
working out. Holy crap.
7 AP 1 goes to AP nothing. Just one damage.
We killed 2 models?
Alrighty.
Yep. 2 models went down. Ugh.
And then the Storm Boys over here.
All right, Storm
I'll do
Boys.
the boss on first.
Reclaim the honor of your clan. Oh, maybe not.
1 AP 2. Whoops.
Good.
He's good. And then I think it's the full squad. Yeah. $16 attacks. What's his toughness?
5. Just
5? Cool. Yeah, 4, 6 AP 1.
Takes the damage.
Oh my god. Okay. Alright, and then your choice.
Yeah, we're gonna go Drake, obviously. I do not wish for this guy to punch me. Is the invulns?
3 damage each?
Yep.
He's dead.
Oh, finally. Drago knocked down the last war boss over there. So he will start to get his unit back.
Wings, we'll just go with this guy.
The librarian did survive.
Yep.
Kills 2 guys. Okay, yeah. I'll just have the trucks one. Three AP nothing. They're good. Wrecking ball. Nothing.
It's like 3 into the knobs and then 4 into the truck.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So, 7,
What's their strength?
6.
6? Okay,
Oh,
so
Oh, you might find a wound while being led, right?
yes. Yeah. 3 go.
Rook. 3, 4 guys. One sustained. 5. 8
Does
damage.
it explode? No. Cool. That's everything.
Yeah,
Overwhelming. Just for 3.
pick up red Terminators.
I'm ditching defend.
We'll pick up green.
Well, that was definitely not the turn we were hoping for from Orcs. 3 on secondaries, down 7 currently. Although they are blanked on primary. Are they? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 OC here
I'll get 5
versus
primary
7.
for-
So just the 5
Yes.
actually. So well, that's something. Although Orcs are probably only going to get a 5 on their own turn.
and Power Shocks. Librarian. He's good. Operation 6. Yep. And Drago. Yeah, he was good with.
Yes.
Okay. Drago, Scuttle, Rigor guy. This banner guy just keeps dying, coming back to life. I'll storm this one. Pretty good. Engage looks. Doesn't look great. I'll engage this one for sure.
Muted my microphone chat by accident. Oopsies.
Nope.
The gauge is a little awkward.
We're gonna get.
Would probably require the paladins to fall back, I think, in order to score it. The storm is easy, but the rest is a little bit tough. Like you can score engage with red, and you have it in the top right corner. But the awkward part is what the third corner is going to be. Downside of running the big bricks is that you do run low on models pretty quickly here. Oh, we have one more in reserve. Just kidding. Nope, it's fine. Missed it. Yeah. Okay, so actually the engage is okay. So it's probably an 8-pointer for Grey Knights this coming turn. So they'll go to 62. I have to make a 20-point differential for Orcs, which is a little bit difficult, especially when they're only getting 5 on primary. If they're not out of the woods, they could pull a really good grip of secondaries and get themselves back in. And then again, Orcs at bottom round 5 scoring, so with the way that the mission is set up, they're probably good for a 15-pointer on the end of the game. So remember, this is priority targets, so for every objective that's held at the end of the game, the players will score again an additional time. So it's pretty reasonable that Orcs get a 5-point lead at that stage. So we'll see if that ends up mattering. Yeah, champ. It's been good for Grey Knight so far. They had some great turns. The Paladin squad eating the charge from the knobs there and not really taking any damage was huge. That was a big one. This has been a sweet game, though. Like, honestly, I think the Grey Knights, I don't know if I've seen Grey Knights quite as aggressive as they were in this game. To be fair, part of that was because the Orcs pushed so far forward, but on the bottom of one. But Grey Knights just going directly into it with 20 Terminators was like very cool to see. Big charge of the Light Brigade energy.
Let's have this guy so you can see everyone. Alright, well, let's start by shooting the normal guns here. Just the Flamer bolt gun.
Alright.
One shot, one wound, AP1, no cover.
Okay. Takes it 1 damage. Kill the stupid.
I'll be. We dev wounds.
How many? 2?
There's
3?
2, yeah.
2? Okay. See ya.
Bolt gun. 2, no AP. And then Purge Soul hits the wound. Let's do the Librarian ability into these last 2 guys.
Alright.
Hurts himself. Take 4. Kills a guy. Hurts my stretch. I think we risk it with this guy. Over here, this Librarian will just do it into the knobs. I'm good with 6. Oh, see, call it. Wish. Kobe! 9 models.
Okay.
That's brutal.
Plus on 1.
Ouchie. Ouchie. That's scary. It's so random, that stupid ability, but it's so strong when it gets that big hit. Oh my god.
No, I actually have 2 more bolt guns over here. Sorry, I forgot that these guys would actually.
Alright.
Can't change the fast yet.
I think that's it for shooting. So
What is the
charges?
I want to know like the quantum waveform that makes that always happen.
Drago charge.
It's crazy how oftentimes that going back to fix a game state actually doesn't change anything. Like, it might just be that mathematically the stuff that you usually fix is like so inconsequential that statistically it's highly unlikely it would do anything anyway. But
We'll charge.
It just feels more often than not like it doesn't do anything at all.
Oh, so close. Alright, Drago squad will swing. You'll swing.
1 unit can hold 2 objective chat. It used to be in 9th edition that a single model could not hold multiple objectives, but that clause was removed in 10th edition. So now there are no restrictions on holding objectives. You just simply contribute your OC to every objective that you're in base contact of, or you're within 3 inches of.
Well, okay, there it is. So
yeah, the Vortex of Doom being like totally unrestricted on its targeting is a little bit crazy.
See.
But I mean, that's like classic psychic power.
Alrighty.
Energy. That was, for the longest time, that was entirely how psychic powers worked.
How many guys do I have? One, 2, 3, and then back.
2, 3.
Okay.
Badger with 6 attacks. What did you add?
Yes. Batrep is on 2s. Oh.
That can make
it's
servo
gonna be
skulls
on
funky. Yeah, you can
4.
direct the servo
Or
skulls
AP.
into a position where you can have one model push all of them.
Alright.
That definitely can happen.
Swing my powers.
But I think overall, I mean, it's a positive change. Like the objective control rules in 9th are very stupid. There was like there's an interpretation, and I think it's actually the rules is written, but it's very dumb. Whereby because a single model can only control one objective per turn, you can have a model that like moves between two
4
objectives,
pinball and 5 up pinball.
and it only ever contributes its control to 1. And that was
He's got a 5-up invuln.
But no one played it that way
I'm gonna
because it was
consult
so
it, too.
impossible to keep track of that it was just have been silly. But the that is what the rules technically said.
We'll put the brother captain and a guy into the war boss and 5 guys into the flash gates.
Okay, flash kits, I'll pop -1 to wound.
Here's the one guy in the brother captain. Oh my jeez. Wants to see. Alright, rerolling these 2 at least. He lives. Oh my god. Oh no, he has 5 of them. Well, thank God.
Yes.
Oh!
Almost.
Uh, 20 attacks on the 5 guys. With 4s. AP2, so this kills 7. Do you have
Well,
any-
they're say 4. They're 4-ups.
Oh, okay, 6s.
Kill 6.
It's that extra cool shoulder pad they got going on.
One, two, 3. Actually, I'm gonna kill these guys. There we go.
We have 5 for Storm. I'm getting you for Engage. I'll just ditch it for CP.
Alright, sounds good. Only gonna get 5. What secondaries do I get? Cleanse, tempting target.
tempting.
Which one is
Ooh.
tempting?
It will for sure be that one in the corner. Yeah.
That one over there.
It's not
you
a great
say.
pull. The cleanse isn't too bad. Can almost assuredly get 2 scores on it.
Two.
You just get this one for
How many
free, and
people
you could
on this
push
objective?
orcs into the center to do it. Tempting sucks.
Could get storm. I think I'll new order strat that.
Yeah, that feels like the right call.
Tempting target.
Capture
Bam.
enemy outpost. No!
If
No! That's too bad.
Okay, are those Stormboys battle shocked?
I think that I mean the OC is like it's
They're not.
the OC system is good and bad in my opinion.
Are the flash kits battle shocked?
The
Nope. Is that Gretchen battle shocked?
It can be hard to keep track of. I mean, in my last game I played
Heals
on
one.
yesterday, like I lost because I had like misremembered the OC of a single character inside a unit, right? And it's like kind of weird to like have to keep track of all that stuff individually. I think I like model count more. And you can make it so that models count as multiple models or whatever.
Do my Gretchen.
You
give
know,
me CP.
battle line units maybe count as 2 or something. But
Do.
it is what it is. I think it's fine either way. It's just that like the ancillary rules in the old version were kind of problematic in my opinion.
Movement phase. Well, whoops. Go out. These boys will get out of the teal truck.
The Cleansey boys.
We do have the mortal wound protection.
I'm in Draco's unit. These guys are psychic model wound protection.
Oh, that's true. But even if they did that, even if I kill, it'd just be that.
Yeah, I think the downside here is we can't kill enough stuff to steal the objective back. Because they still have a banner too, so they're OC2 on all these models, so they're 6 models in the objective. You have to kill a ton of them
Okay.
for that outpost to be takeable. You have to kill 3 at least, I think, to force the Narthessium guy to survive, and then that would just contest it with the Storm Boys anyway.
Oh.
Maybe we're going for a charge? Feels a little sketch.
They'll be doing the action.
So we're just supposed to be to get a new secondary. It's capture enemy outpost 75% of the time. I think that's probably like some confirmation bias, I bet, because you always discard like capture enemy outpost in like the first 1 to 3 turns of the game. It feels like if you draw capture in those turns, you always discard it anyway. And so you're like, oh man, when I new orders like late game, right? There's like always capture in my deck because I would have discarded it if I drew it earlier. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's probably how capture enemy outpost works most of the time.
Cleansing.
Maybe the CPU overwatch these guys.
Okay.
Like my librarian. We'll do the flamer. Just not 2 guys.
Oh wait, they get 6 subs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, they
Little lag.
yeah, they'll be cleansing. I'll advance the shield route, or should I have it? I'll advance the teal truck. How about that? Just for 13. 5. Seven. Just like that. Flash gets will fall back. I'll advance this solo Gretchen. I'll advance the, oh no, the yellow truck doesn't want to advance. He wants to cleanse.
Metalbox Games, what's up, man? Nice to see you guys. Yeah, this game's been sweet.
That's
It's been a real tight one.
All
Grey
of the
Knights are eking it out. They had 2
movements.
really good turns back to back, and Orcs kind of had a bit of a miss in their last
Shooting,
round.
cleansing with the teal truck.
But it has
cleansing
been a
with
really
these
high-scoring
boys.
game and a lot of like cool plays going on between these 2 players.
Charges. Don't think there's a. No, they cleansed. They have mortal wound protection.
These guys don't know.
Oh no? Okay, then Captain Batrep squad will throw a grenade in the dome.
Get him with the grenade.
Oops.
So they have
Just 2.
What did we have for our prediction here, chat? Were we still 70% for Orcs? We were. Ooh, boy.
Alright,
Grey
and
Knight's
then
currently
pass the
wildly in
turn. I'll just get cleansed for 5. No capture.
I'll pick up this
10.
squad, and then I'll pick up this.
Okay.
No need to auto pass morale. So, okay, here. This guy. Leadership 4.
Yeah.
Words. Behind and tempting. What's my tempting?
I'm gonna put this one.
Well, I'm gonna hopefully keep putting a waft through your dudes.
Cool. I'll overwatch them. Flash gets. Okay, so 12 attack. Batrep will overcharge because mine as well. 12 attacks from the normal dudes. For AP1.
Or
Batrep. Nothing. Does he hurt himself?
so library. Guess we put you here, make a battle shock, give you pass, then we can charge here. Models. So we'll drop him there and then he'll make a battle shock.
Turn the players up again, chat. Very quiet. This is a real
Pretty
Thursday
shooting
afternoon kind of
time.
game.
We'll just start with with Drago squad, Flamer, Drago, and a couple of bug guns.
Alright.
Flamer. Uh, 5 AP1 no cover.
Okay. Kills 3.
Drago, 1 hit. AP2, 2 damage no cover.
Kill him.
1, no AP.
Good.
We leave us as a 5-inch charge, that's fine. Over here, we're gonna shoot the paladins into Batrep.
Okay.
I think it's literally just the 6 icons left.
Pop -1 wound, I guess. Might as well. Should have saved it for the bridge. No, they're gonna kill him.
Did you pop -1 wound or no?
Yeah, yeah. AP1?
AP1.
Okay. 2 damage each?
Yep.
Okay. Wait, how many went through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes, does that kill the squad?
kills
Oh
him.
my god.
Okay, they're good.
Oh no, wait. I think Vadrek has 2 left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, sorry, 3 and then 6 of Vadrek. Yeah, just kills him exactly.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. These side cannons are doing work in this matchup, chat. Killing trucks, killing 2 wounders.
This squad.
Like I
we're just
said,
gonna
side
shoot
cannons are
into
good
these
against
dudes.
kind of
Alright.
bad save profiles.
Flamer. Kills 5 Gretchen.
Alrighty.
Bolt guns.
Yeah.
5, no AP.
Okay, they do get cover. So 6s. Kills 4.
Combi weapon. Oh, let's reroll this. Nothing. Poach soul. Nothing. 3 wounds left. We'll just do the librarian to his squad.
Okay.
Goes off. 3 models.
Down.
Okay. Charges. We're gonna check the paladins just into this Gretchen.
Okay.
How much sees a truck? It's like 4.
2.
2. Okay. We need like 3 guys. I don't want to touch you here. I need behind enemy lines. So I think if I just charge this Gretchen, I can. Big 12. I am into this Gretchen.
Correct, Gretchen. Yeah, it does. I do think
I'm not
to some
technically
extent
decent.
Terminators are much more interesting in 9th or 10th edition than they were previously. Because previously they were just like kind of like bad tacticals, and in 10th they're much more resilient, much more sticky to kill. They've like more interesting profiles for sure. And definitely the Grey Knight Terminators are like some of the best. But it also helps that they're fighting orcs, right? And orcs are low save doofuses. Low save, low AP doofuses, which is exactly what Terminators want to be fighting.
You with red.
That changed to T5 though. That's like a big bump on the Terminator chassis. T5 Terminators and T6 Gravis units. Who would have thought? What a time to be alive. Nurgle Matt, what's up, my dude? How you doing? So there are still 10 boys inside the teal transport. So they will likely be able to hop out because we are moving to bottom round 5. They're likely able to hop out and steal 2 objectives, I think, from these paladins. So we will probably see Grey Knights with... I think they'll get 3 objectives at the end game here. So I think Grey Knight... I mean, unless something funky happens, Grey Knights should be okay to win here. They're getting behind enemy lines. They're getting their tempting target, theoretically, assuming they kill one of the trucks.
Xenos spotted.
There's some Xenos, yeah. We found them. So that'll be up to 79, and they're representing a 94.
Here. So there's
Yeah.
there's only 4 OC, right?
Yes.
So I have 6, so I'll take my tempting. Cool. So we'll swing 4 guys into the Gretchen and then 2 guys into this truck.
Okay.
There were 6 trucks, Jen.
Okay, this.
Now there are 2.
Yeah.
We have killed many trucks.
2 guys into the truck. 2. Take 4
Takes
damage.
4. Okay.
A whole truckload of trucks is what we got to take down here.
All right, and then the boys.
Oh, didn't kill it. That's a blank on tempting? Oh, no. Does that? I don't know if that changes things too much. It just means that orcs have a much easier time of this. Because all they have to do is disembark here, and they steal that with their OC.
So 4 guys.
This truck has to just yeet around the side and tow this objective to hold that one. If there's a universe where this truck can tow onto both objectives, like along this line, it looks questionable. I don't think it has like the geometry to do that. But that would allow the boys over here to charge onto this objective. Although that feels like it might be bad. But if they survive and kill some Terminators, then they could score 15.
So I'll get behind for 5, tempting for 5.
Oh. Okay.
Nobody.
All right.
Which objective was tempting?
This one.
Is there? Oh, this is a banner guy.
Banner.
Yeah.
They're all 2 ACs. The 6 OC against his 4.
Yeah. I missed the banner guy. That's what I get for being top down on it.
Yes.
All right, chat. No, that's my bad. There's a banner guy. I thought that head blank, the tempting. Yeah, that would have been a 10-point swing there. Then that could have opened things up to orcs. From this angle, he looks like he's got a melee weapon. But if you look down here, look, he's got a little flag with a book on it. That's fun. Sad. That's sad. All right. So, cap on orcs. What do they get? Bring it down. Area denial. Bring it down's a blank against Grey Knights, so that's unfortunate. They could score area denial, but it's unlikely. It actually looks almost impossible. So I think orcs will just score 10 at the end of this turn. Yeah, that's a womp womp, chat. And it'll be 62 to 94, I think, is the final score that we'll have. Ah, too bad. Heartbreaker. Maybe orcs should have been more aggressive, chat. I'm not sure. I do think, like, I think they were too aggressive, but I think that they were too passive with the boys' trucks, because I think the boys' trucks are much less valuable than the is this in the yellow truck or the teal truck? I don't know. I don't know if it makes a huge difference. Let's see if I can straighten the boys' trucks are less valuable than the knob trucks, because as we can see, the knobs can actually mix it up with the Terminators like just fine. They actually kill. We killed through an entire Terminator brick and most of another one before they started to regenerate. So, but the boys are like sort of, especially once Armor of Contempt gets dropped on something, they're just worthless in combat. They're just good for high OC, but like who cares? If it doesn't, your OC doesn't really matter so much if you're dead. So, like, I wonder if maybe that truck that should have been up in the front there should have been a boys' truck, and we just like surround the boys' trucks with chaff idiots that can, or the knobs trucks with like chaff idiots that can eat the charges for them and then countercharge with the knobs. Feels like maybe it's the game plan. Flagbook OP for sure. Yeah. +1 OC on a unit of Terminators. It's like, that's a hell of a drug right there. Normally you gotta be Dark Angels to do that shit. I like the effect though. Man, sometimes 10th edition just like it just gets my game design, senses tingling. I'm just like, whoa, they constructed Grey Knights as this hyper mobile scoring faction, and then gave them like OC manipulation war gear. Like they don't do much damage, and they don't have extra damage effects really, but their war gear gives you extra OC, so your mobile scoring your mobile scoring faction scores better. Wow, that makes so much sense. I like it, chat. 10th edition is really like compared to the previous editions, 10th edition is like really a masterpiece. It's very good, real good. People give Grey Knight too much shit for being pillow-fisted. Yeah, I mean, like, I understand it to some extent. Like, people want Grey Knights to play like the Demon Hunters like trailer, right? Like the Chaos Gate Demon Hunters trailer was like one Grey Knight just like wandering, like just like running through a bunch of Chaos Demons and like blowing them all up, and you're like, all right, like it would be cool if Grey Knights were like that, but that's Adeptus Custodes territory, right? Like the problem I think is that back in my day. I'll date myself a little bit here. Back in my day, people used the Grey Knights Codex to represent Adeptus Custodes, because Custodes didn't have rules in 4th and 5th edition. So people would convert a Grey Knights army into Custodians and then use them to represent them, because they were basically the same vibe, you know? Like they were both like, power spear equipped.
I mean, there's no point. But it's like I could Overwatch and I could Mists just to be like a total son of a bitch.
Yes.
I don't know if Mists does anything here.
Oh yeah, you could miss onto this one.
Yeah, it would just stop you getting like 5 primary. It's like whatever.
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Can you Mist to make a normal move?
All right.
I mean, it's
all right, bro.
Oh, you can.
GG.
GG's.
Make a normal move as if we were moving phase. Or be putting
Sweet.
blue strike.
Thanks for the game, man.
Good
You have
stuff.
a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Peace.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Oh yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
yeah, that was a good one. Thanks for playing.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Peace.
Hell yeah. Hey, Strong, congratulations on taking it down.
I chat down in the Grey Knights again.
Chat down to the Grey Knights insanely. 72% in favor of orcs.
I mean, I remember that when it was against Chaos Knights. I'm like, can't kill any Chaos Knights.
How are you going to kill the Chaos Knights? And you're like, I'll just do it. I don't know.
Just kill them.
I'll just wrap an Ingress off of Misodemos.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, how do you feel about this matchup generally?
This is a pretty good matchup for me. No Mozrog, no like Bash Bros. There's no Mozrog and no
Gaz.
No, well, Gaz or the other guy, just like a normal beast boss on Squaresaw. So their AP is super low. That's why I was just like kind of just march down the middle. And it's like if I ever gotten too scared, it's like I still had my sigil, I still had mists, so it's like this truck. I mean, obviously my plan was to pop it and then get a bigger charge of Drago so I could just try and kill both. And then I was like, without these knobs, with only one squad of knobs left, I was like, nothing can kill me.
Right. Yeah, it definitely felt like the trucks that should have been in front are the boys ones, because they're just like they just take up real estate and then open up space for the knobs to come in if you commit any Terminators.
Yeah. So Drago got hit harder than he should. Like, what happened to the Paladins is like more indicative of what actually happens. Where you're just
constantly pumping True Silver onto them, and then they're like, just
but Drago's squad was like 8 guys in like one combat, and I'm like,
I did see that saving throw that was like 6 1s and a 2. I was like, oh my god.
Okay, I'm not making 3s, but it's like okay, it's okay. But yeah, I think like what orcs really need to do is just like bum rush me with like. Just get guys out and then just tag my guys with some trucks so I can't miss. Well, I can't teleport assault, because like if he just like ran 2 trucks into my paladins here, I can't kill 2 trucks probably. And then I'm just like stuck here for 2 turns, and then he can maneuver around.
Yeah, that's what people are saying is like maybe Orc should have just played super aggro and just forced models everywhere essentially. And
Yeah.
it feels like you certainly have the beef to kill a truck and everybody inside it, but I don't know if you can kill multiple in a turn, right? You start to like run out of steam to kill transports.
That's just like they don't really kill me. So if they just bum rush me with everything, and then I'm just like stood here with 20 dudes, stood here with 20 dudes, then it's like, all right, I'm still scoring my 10 every turn.
Right.
It's just my solo librarian and Stern maybe come off and do my little side actions.
Yeah.
So
I also wonder if maybe there's a universe where orcs play fixed instead of tacticals here. I was surprised that he took tacticals, honestly, because usually you see cleanse and teleport homers like almost every time, especially with how the terrain set up. Or the objectives.
But then does he after, like, if it's a similar turn 1, like once my paladins get into the middle, is he gonna get like cleanse and homers again? Like I just sit here?
Yeah, the cleanse on the center objective is rough. I mean, he could just keep doing it with trucks and like putting trucks there. The homers is easier because you.
I don't know if they outsee me though, right? Like if I just sit here. With 20 dudes.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, you have to hold it. Yeah.
Because Terminators are 3 OC each, so 20 Terminators is like 60 OC. He's like never.
Yeah, I mean he could score baby cleanse right on his home objective.
Baby cleanse, yeah.
And then he could put like a Stormbolt unit back here and just sit them down and either make you redirect to go deal with them, or he just scores a max on homers.
Yeah, maybe homers was it, because then you just like sit in this corner and it's like just annoying to deal with.
Yeah, there were definitely some times where like she just drew into really awkward secondaries. His only secondary score was
and he has to use a Gretchen as well. He has used a Gretchen for extra CP, so discarding wasn't even that great.
Right. Yep. Interesting. Well, congrats on taking the event down. I'll go ahead and get your scores in, so you're all set. And I'm sure we'll see you around in the future.
Yeah. Well, maybe not for a while, because January's busy in LVO, so
Fair
after
enough.
January.
All right.
When's the season end?
Season ends in June. We're doing it's a 1-year season, so it ends.
I got ages then.
It ends in a couple months. Yep. All right, you are all set. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your afternoon.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right, chat. Fix is the way for orcs, yeah. I understand what Headstrong's saying there with the cleanse being super awkward. I kind of liked this play, the ingress play here, to push a boys squad, because like once the boys squad is down, there's no there's nothing to shoot, like they can shoot at it. So like you could ingress like here maybe in a position where it's like really awkward to shoot at, and then just like steal that objective. You put 3 models in the objective or whatever, and then you like cleanse that objective. Oh no, you have to cleanse midboard. So maybe you'd have to go here and then go here if he is low committal to that objective. I don't know. There's definitely more play, I think, with the cleansing and the homers than it feels like tacticals. Orcs feel like they could play either way. But I have seen orcs play fixed probably more than any other faction in 40k right at this stage. Like watching Sean Naden play, Sean's like, I don't own a tactical objective deck because I've never not taken fixed objectives. He's just like, okay, man, I guess. He's like, I don't even know what's in the tactical objective deck. I just don't want to deal with it. I'm only playing fixed objectives. And it feels like that's sort of the orc energy right now. What's better stratagem? Stealth in the shooting phase or a 4-up invuln in the shooting phase? The invuln. Well, I mean, it depends on what you already have. It depends on your respective weapon profiles. If your opponent is low ballistic skill and doesn't have rerolls, the stealth is probably better. Like if you're pushing a 4 ballistic skill to a 5 and they don't have rerolls to hit, then the stealth is probably stronger. And if you're pushing your invuln save like +1, then it's not quite as exciting. So I would say probably the invuln save, like looking holistically at the entirety of 40k, the invuln save is probably more often useful, but the two aren't directly comparable in my opinion. It depends a lot on what the respective profiles are. All right, chats, let's go raiding. This was a fun one. I'm glad we got to stream this game. We had a lot of interesting discussions today, which I really appreciated. So thanks everybody for coming and hanging out. Wow, 2,500 people in Warhammer. Oh, somebody's doing what is this? Somebody's doing a watch stream with 2,000 viewers. Who is this person? What? But this is just like a just chatting. Weird. It's just like this random channel with 300,000 follows. That's absorbing the entirety of the Warhammer tag today.